Hello everyone, my name is Jan Deem. I am a journalist engineer with The Pudding. We're a small collective of about 6 to 8 journalist engineers who tell visual stories. And I'm here to talk to you about data stories, what makes a good one, what they look like, and kind of how our process comes about when we put those together. First, let's look at kind of what is data storytelling. And right at the top of the Pudding site, we say that we're a digital publication that explains ideas debated in culture with visual essays. Still, that's a pretty open-ended statement. And whenever I try to explain what it is I do to people, I always end up pulling out my phone and just showing them instead. But it's important to keep that definition of what we do and kind of what data storytelling is a bit vague. After all, it's still evolving. Sometimes it's almost easier to describe what other types of data visualizations exist out there in order to define what data storytelling is. First, there's data academia and data science. We're thinking, those black and white bar graphs that you see stuck inside of scientific papers. These are often really complex and hard to decipher. The average public just doesn't really connect with them. Historically, that's because scientists had to pay per figure in their paper, so they would cram in as much information as they could, and that would make these things really, really complex. On the other side, there's data art. This is something that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Here, the data often doesn't look like a traditional chart or graphic at all. Instead, it's something that looks like it belongs in a museum. It's engaging and it's captivating. Here we're looking at Nadi Bremer's Constellation of the Royal Family, where you can see kind of the familial connections between all of these royalty. Another great example of this data art is Giorgio Lupi's La Lettura project. And it's another project that is rooted in data, but presents more as art. Data storytelling itself exists in the sweet spot between the two. It combines the function of academic and science data with the form of data art. It's sometimes described as edutainment because it both informs and delights. And what differentiates data storytelling is that your goal is to reach the broadest audience possible and to communicate a clear narrative and clear takeaways. Next, I'm going to show you a quick video of some of the Pudding's work to give you an idea of what our data storytelling looks like. And I'll catch up with you guys in the next video where we'll run through a brief history lesson of how we got to where we are today.